All right, so in this video, I'm going to show you guys how to make some custom brushes inside of Blender. Because it does have these default ones, which you can kind of, use, and they're pressure sensitive, and they have different kinds of looks and things. Some of them are more visually interesting than others. But you can only do so much. And if we go to the brush settings here, you can see there's some options here underneath like advanced. We can change some things here as well. However, it's still sort of limited. They don't. The main issue that I typically have is that they are solid, which means that if you look at them, there is no variation within the color themselves, as well as um, they don't have also any sort of changes in the edges, right? So both the inside and the outside don't really change. This one's just using this wobbliness, which is neat looking, but you can't do a bunch with that. So what we're going to do is we're basically going to create a couple of brushes just to give us a more varied look so that we don't end up with something that's like very clearly just something inside of here that it looks unique and on its own. Okay. So, first off, I'm going to do this inside of Photoshop, but really, if you have any other digital illustration software, feel free to use that. I'm just going to hit new file. Really, what we need is we need an alpha, a brush tip alpha, in order to make our brush. So you can go online and try to find stuff. I was having a lot of difficulty trying to find something that would work. So I'm just going to basically steal something from Photoshop, and that should work. So I want to make something that's 1,000 by 1,000, so just a square, and then we'll hit create and it will look like this. Okay. Then what you're going to do is I'm just going to go to the brush. Basically, I'm just trying to steal the alpha from here. And what I'm going to do is I just went to, let's drag this down. There we go. I went down to the dry media brushes because I just wanted to steal one of these ones. I wanted basically like a pencil type style one. So there's this ultimate charcoal pencil. That one looks cool. So maybe I'll just take that one. So I'm going to click on that one and you can see, oh, it's drawing white. Let's do black so you can see. It looks like this, okay? But I like, let's get closer. There we go. I like that it's got kind of a rough edge. I want to steal that and have that inside of my project, okay? So what we're going to do is I'm going to go like this. We're going to make a new layer, okay? And we're going to take this background. I'm just going to get rid of it. Okay. Yes. Basically, it has to be transparent. The way this works, it doesn't work like a lot of other apps where it wants black and white image. It actually just wants a transparent background. Um, okay. So then what we're going to do is if you go to your brush settings, so I'm just going to go to Windows, go to Brushes or Brush Settings, either way. But you can see Brushes is what we have here. I'm going to switch over to Brush Settings. This has these basically these dynamic things in here. It's using the internal brush engine. I'm actually really only after this brush tip, so I'm going to turn off all of these other things. And the reason why is I want that I'm going to just click, and I want it to just be a solid color of it. I don't want it to like have to be dragged and done, whatever. I just want the stamp of it. So what I'm looking for is this right here. Okay. I'm going to take the flow, make sure that's 100%, make sure the alpha or the opacity is 100%, all that business. Okay. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to make my brush much bigger. I'm going to use the bracket keys to write the P key. And I basically want this to just fill this. Let's minimize that. And you can see it's okay. So like that. So about that size. And then you stamp once. Now, this isn't going to quite work. For one, it doesn't look that great, but also, for whatever reason, and make sure you're not using a tablet. I don't want pressure on this at all. So make sure there's no pressure. It actually prefers white, which is kind of a weird thing. But so we're just going to click this. I'm going to click and I'm going to make one white imprint. If it helps, you can, add a background to this and then, you know, so you can see, but it should look something like that. Okay. I'm just going to get rid of this because I didn't actually want it. I actually want white. So it should just be white on a transparent background, just like that. Okay. And like I said, you can go into any app that you have that has brushes. You can do it that way. Or if you can go online and find some, even if you find black one with a white background, you could just, invert it. Or maybe you find a black and white image. You could just take the black out or take the white out, depending on how it's lined up. But basically, you want a white on a black thing. You can, or on a transparent background. That's the thesis statement. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and do file and we will save as, and I'll just save to the desktop, and I'm just going to call this uh, my pencil. Okay, my pencil, and it has to be a PNG because I need to have that transparency, and it has to be something that's non-proprietary so that Blender can read it. Okay, so it's PNG, my pencil. We'll save that. All right, I'm going to show you. That's great. Okay, now that's one way. So basically, it's going to take this and it's going to go across. While we're in here, I'm just going to go ahead and make another stroke so you can see another way of going about doing this. So I'm going to do File. We're going to do New. And this time, let's do 1500. Okay. And let's do, let's say 250, like that. And I meant to go long ways, not wide ways. So we'll just fix that real quick. I wasn't, because I didn't look at it. Image rotation, and we'll do 90 degrees clockwise. Okay. So basically it'd be something like this. Um, and I'll show you what the difference is afterwards, but I just want to cover both of them so you get a rough idea. Now I'm going to go back to the brush here. And this time I want to do something that's not a dry brush, but something that's more like a wet media brush. So I'm going to open this up and we're going to look at these and let's see. Round oils, is that? Mm, maybe that'll be okay. Let me try it with my pen real quick and see what that looks like. Come on. Turn on, pen. We were working a second ago. Where'd you go? There we go. Try that now. Okay, I don't like it. Let's try one of the other ones. Oops. There. Real oils? How does that one look? That's closer. We'll go with that one. Okay. So, this you are going to want a tablet for. Once again, I'm going to make another layer above. Let's take this one. I'm going to unlock it just so I can see it. I am going to paint black onto this, and we're going to go to layer above, and we're going to be painting white. I'm going to go back to my brush, and I'm going to need to make it bigger. So I'm going to hit the bracket keys, and I want to just do kind of a nice stroke across. See how like that looked bad? So try to do it straight. I'm going to hold shift as I do it so it doesn't really have the pressure sensitivity I was hoping for. Let me go up here. Oops, undo that. And let me sure, is that gonna, didn't really help it either. Thought I liked this one. No, I'm not so sure. Well, we'll go with it anyway. I don't really care. So I'm gonna go like this. I'm gonna hold shift. And I'm just going to kind of go like that and like that. Okay. So that'll be my other stroke. And you'll see why this will work in a second. So we'll go like that. I'm going to take this. We're going to get rid of that guy. I only put it there so I could see the white stroke. And we're going to also save this one. And I'm going to do Control Shift S. And we're going to save as a PNG. If that doesn't work, I'm hitting Control Shift S. You just do File, Save a Copy. And that'll give you the option to do a PNG. And I'm just going to call this one my uh, paint stroke brush. Okay, like that. All right. So you'll see there's two different ways of doing this, and that's why I'm showing you both. One might make more sense depending on what your look is versus the other one. I didn't do a good job on this, but maybe once you see me apply it, then you'll see why you would want to do it differently. Okay. Um, oh, the other thing we're going to need, just as another example here, is I want to have watercolor look as well. So I'm going to choose, I just looked up a watercolor texture seamless and I grabbed this texture as well. So if you want to use something else, I don't really care. This one I found relatively easy. I was able to find stuff that sort of worked. So find something in that regard as well. So we have basically three styles that you're going to see that we can kind of choose from, and hopefully it'll make sense. Okay, first thing you want to do is look at what you already have down here, and think of which one is the closest to the style that you're after, and use that kind of as the starting point. So we have pencil soft, pencil. The thing is, like, I don't like how soft these are to start with. So I'm actually going to start with the ink pen. And then what I'm going to do is over here, I'm obviously in the 2D animation workspace. I'm going to click on this, and we can duplicate this asset. And then it's going to ask what we want to name it. And we'll just call it my pencil. Okay. And we are going to put it into, it's going to save as an asset. So I want to go to the end here. We're going to go over here, pencil draw, and we are going to make a new folder inside of here called custom. And let's do a capital because that's what they're used to. Custom. Okay. And then we'll hit save. And that will make a new brush. You can see it over here. It's called my pencil, and that all looks pretty great. Okay. All right. So now I have a duplicate of it, more or less. Now we need to make some adjustments. So I'm doing the pencil, so I'm going to show you how to go about that. So really what this is, it's going to be linked to a material. So I'm going to go to the material, and we're going to make a new material. So I'm just going to hit this little plus. Let's lock these so I don't accidentally mess these up. I think this is one I made earlier. I'm going to hit the little plus here. We're going to hit new. Let's go ahead and rename it and click on it, and we'll just call this uh, pencil. Okay. Now, underneath stroke, because this is going to be drawing a stroke, I'm going to switch this from line to dots, and from style, from solid to texture. We'll leave the base color black. Doesn't really matter right now. We can always change that afterwards. We're going to hit open, and then we're going to find our images that we just made. I want to find the pencil one. So here's my pencil. Open. Bueno. And now what we need to do is this, because you're going to see when I go to draw with this, I don't know if you can see it or not. It's white. So by default, what it actually does is it takes the color that it currently is and makes it that color. What you want to do is if you do blend, it will blend the color that's currently selected, in this case, black. I'm going to make this bigger so you can see. And that will become the color that's on there. Okay. Now, if you make it less, you see it's going to go to white because that's what it is. But I can also change the color here and do like blue or something, right? Whatever. Maybe I'm doing photo blue. Um, that sort of thing. Okay. So now you can see, yep. Now I've got that texture. But you can see it doesn't look quite the way I want. It's kind of dots, right? Which is what we put in there. To make this work a little bit better, we need to, let's go ahead and I'm going to pin this material to the pencil. So basically that pencil is always uses that material. All right. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go to the advanced section, and you can see the spacing is 100%, which means it tries to space them out, well, 100%. So we want more like, let's try 10% to start with. And now when I draw, you'll see it still looks terrible. Okay, let's go back here again. Man, this pen keeps turning off on me. Okay, 10% angle hardness, that's fine. Let's go to stroke. Let's turn off post-processing for now. There we go. The post-processing was, I think maybe doing the simplify was adjusting it, maybe the iterations, I'm not sure. But that's usually if you want to have it smooth out, which this line I actually don't want to smooth out anyhow. So let's see. Okay, looks a little bit better. All right, so let's control plus 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 plus. So now you'll see I more or less have kind of that pencil. Now from this point, you might want to like make some adjustments. We can do like we can rotate it so that the if you need to adjust the way that it's drawing the strokes, um, might even maybe up this a little bit depending on like that, just so it's a little bit more hairy, I guess. From a distance, it looks a little bit better. So might need to make some minor adjustments to things there. So let's try 20. Angles, active smooth, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I think that's all fine. Randomize. Oh, randomize might help as well. So let's try that. If we use randomize, that will, oh, I didn't actually change anything yet. Let's randomize the radius just a little bit. Because what it'll do is it'll give it more variation. So I think it looks a little bit more pencil-y, if you will. And there's other options here as well, like strengthen that. And I think that's fine. Okay, so that's one way of doing it. And basically what you're doing is you're just taking that stroke. Basically, there's a line here, right? If we go into edit mode, you can see there's a line. And all it's doing is it's repeating that the dots, in this case, the alpha on those dots, in order to create what we have here. Okay, I'm going to hit A and delete, and we will delete all those. Let's go back into draw mode. So I'm going to show you another way that may or may not make sense to you. Oh, once you've made it and you're happy and you know it, make sure you go over here to your thing, and then just make sure you save the changes to the assets. Can I edit? Let's edit the preview image as well. So I'm just going to use the same image as the pencil, which actually isn't going to work very well because it's let's go to downloads because I made a black. That's white. That's doesn't really make sense. Um, but that way we'll have the preview of it. But you can make a preview image and then use that so that that way it clearly looks different than the other ones. Might be something you want to do. Okay, let's make another one. So I'm going to do a paintbrush. I'm once again going to use the ink pen. So I'm select the ink pen, and we're going to go ahead and duplicate this asset, and I'm going to call this my paintbrush. And once again, we're going to do brushes custom. Use the lighter brushes custom, my paintbrush. Yep, hit save. Okay, glorious. All right, it's going to be kind of similar, but it's going to be slightly different. You'll see why it's slightly different in a second. Once again, I'm going to go to my material here. We're going to make another material. Hit new. And we're going to call this brush, I guess. Leave it on stroke again. This time we're going to leave it on line. We're still going to put it onto texture again. I'm going to hit open and we're going to select that other one that we made, my paintbrush. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and do the blend all the way up so we can see this thing. And let's see, this is, okay. Let's make this a bit bigger so we can see. Okay. It's getting cut off. Okay, so we're going to take the advanced and we're going to bring this down. Just want to make sure. Um, I also want to, let me see if I go like this. Take the UV and we're just going to go way higher with it. Let's try 1,000, 2, 3. We made it 1,500, didn't we? So we'll do 1,500. There we go. Okay. So what this is going to do now is, I'll just show you. So basically, it's going to stretch my, let's take this and let's see, we'll go like this. Okay, let's go higher. No, we want to keep it. Let's go to 1%. But basically what it's going to do is this one's going to stretch that one image that we made over the stroke, as opposed to doing many dots. So this can give you basically a different look than the other one would. Yeah. Yeah. Um, so you're gonna have to play around with it a little bit. And once again, I'm just gonna go ahead and pin this. But basically, it will give you that look. So you can see I'm still having a bit of a gap, and the reason for it is it's actually a failure of my brush in general. I've got to try and get these closer to the edges. Like they got to get right to the edge, or it doesn't really quite. It always had that gap there because where it'll do is that when it starts from one, where are we? Where it starts at one, there's an image right here. So there's white in that image, so there's going to be a gap between the two. So what you need to do is basically try and have them go right to the very edge, or you're going to end up with that. So it's kind of one of the weaknesses of it. But depending on how you're working, like if I get closer here, it wouldn't be as big of a deal. You can see I can kind of do these strokes and it's fine. It only becomes a problem when I start getting into longer lines. So depending on what I'm trying to draw. Um, but hopefully that makes some sense to you. Okay. So that's the other way of making the brushes. I'm just going to go ahead and go up here and I'm going to go ahead and we will edit the preview image real quick and go to desktop. I'm just going to grab the white and see how it does. Load preview image. And then I'm just going to go ahead and save changes to asset. Okay, you can still see the white. That's fine. Okay, so let's hit tab and go and select all these and we're going to delete them again. And I'm going to show you kind of the last way to sort of do a brush from the, not sculpt mode, not draw mode. Okay, so once again, I'm going to grab, and this time I'm going to do this one. This is actually a little closer to what I want. So I'm going to select this guy. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to duplicate this asset. And we'll call this, oops, my water color. And we are going to put that again into the customs thing. We'll hit save. Okay. And what we're going to do is we are going to go down to the material again. You probably figured this out. We're going to hit plus. We're going to hit new. And then we're going to go ahead and say watercolor. Okay. But this time we are going to go to fill. We're going to turn on fill as well. Okay. And then we want to not do a solid, but a texture. Probably see where this is going. Take the blend and we'll just go all the way up with it for now. We'll hit open and I'm going to grab that texture that I downloaded earlier. There it is, the watercolor. Okay. Now, when you go to draw this, you're going to see something looks like that. And that doesn't look real great. That isn't quite what I was hoping for, if you will. Okay. So, I think we got to bring that back some. Yeah. Okay. So, that looks fine. Now what I want to do is let's go ahead and do like a different color. Let's do like orange. Okay. And what if we bring this up some? So you start to lose it a little bit. So you got to play around with it. Okay. So this isn't really what I was after though, right? What I'm after is for it to look more like a paintbrush. So in order to do that, we have to, let's go ahead and pin this to make sure that's on there. We're going to go to the stroke. We want to leave post-processing on this time, but we're going to choose outline. Then we're going to click on the material. Actually, we can leave the material. It'll just use what's there. And now it's not very big. I have to make it a lot bigger. Hang on. You'll see what it does in a second. Now it will basically brush um, the like it'll kind of that will basically be your brush is that pattern, and it's just basically laid underneath. I'm going to go to the settings here and see if we can adjust the maybe it's under wings, angle factor, hardness. Oh, here we go. Strength is what I want to adjust. It's a little weak. Um, anyway, so hopefully that makes sense. And so using that, you can get kind of a varied bit of designs.